Worked for a tie shop selling men's ties. He worked at a tire place where they manufacture the tires there in Akron. But when his stepmother became very ill, he went home at great hardship. He didn't have a vehicle. He hitchhiked home every weekend to go see her until she died.
This was 1930 something?
Yeah, well, no. Gable was born in 1901, so this was probably around close to 1920 when he was in his late teens.
Before the Depression.
Right. And he got his father, as I said, wanted him to go into oil wildcatting with him. But he got a small legacy from his grandfather of $300. So he had gotten bitten by the acting bug. He went to a play because he was raised basically on a farm, and he just loved the theater. And he said, this is what I want to do. So he had no talent, nothing, but he went backstage and he said, I can move props. He was a big fella, very big, strong man. So, and from that, he got little, like non-speaking parts, maybe in a crowd scene, in a play. He was in plays exclusively first. But he got to be quite good, and he joined a touring company. And there he met his first real serious girlfriend. Her name was Franz Dorfler. And she figured very importantly later in his life when he was the king of Hollywood at MGM. Franz Dorfler was from a farm in the Pacific Northwest, and Clark Gable was so thin and big, he would get down to bones, and when he would do that, she would take him home to her mother and dad, who loved him, and they became engaged, but they would feed him and fatten him up before they went on the road again. He said one time, I was so poor, I could sit down on a nickel and my pants were so thin in the back, I could tell if it was heads or tails. That's how poor he was. Well, he and later on I will go into that because Franz Dorfler figures into that. They became engaged as a young couple, but of course they broke up. But later on, Clark Gable, she very much came to his rescue. When he was king of Hollywood, around 36 or 37, a woman from England, which was very weird because Clark Gable had never been out of the country, but she came and wrote letters to MGM. Basically, there were extortion letters. She said she had an illegitimate daughter by Gable in England. And she said, when I went to the theater, that was him with those big ears. His name was Frank Burns. So MGM went to Gable, and Clark Gable, of course, said, I've never had a passport. He did not leave the country until World War II when he served in the military. Then he traveled extensively in Europe. He said, no, I've never been. But Franz Dorfler, they found her, and she came, and they gave her a job at MGM. They were so grateful because he was so important. But Franz Dorfler came, and she had playbills where her and Gable were, and his name was always Gable. He was one of the few people
that kept his name.
That kept his name. His name was William Clark Gable, and he went by Billy as a young man, and then he liked Clark, so he became Clark Gable. But
now, when he was as a stagehand, when he went in, who discovered Gable?
Well, Lionel Barrymore became close friends with him. He was in a play with him, but actually just different people would use him. But Lionel Barrymore was very important with his young life. He actually got him a screen test at MGM. And also Thalberg, the legendary great Irving Thalberg. Louis B. Mayer did not like Gable. He thought he was too big and rough and powerful. He thought he was scary. He would
so he
try
wouldn't
to minimize.
relate to